I only realized my birthday had passed when my bank charged me a late fee for a credit card I didn't know I owned. It was April 19th when the notification came through. Late payment posted, $28.17, APR now 34.9%. The account? Capital Saver Elite. Sounded fancy, except I'd never opened it. And my birthday. April 12th. I hadn't noticed. I'd gone the whole week feeling off, disoriented, like a film of static had wrapped around my brain. I thought it was PMS, work stress, or maybe just the April gloom. But now it hit me like a brick. I'd forgot my own damn birthday. No flowers. No cake. No note on the fridge. And no dinner reservation like he'd promised, in advance. But maybe he had planned something. Maybe it slipped my mind. That's what Liam always said when I questioned things. You forget stuff a lot, babe. You mix up dates. I told you that already. But I hadn't forgotten this time. He did. Or worse, he made me think I did. I clicked into the Capital Saver Elite account, had to reset the login using my SSN. The name on the account. Mine. The billing address. Ours. The email listed. Hers. Not mine. Not his. Hers. A woman I didn't know. A Gmail with initials SC and a photo that wouldn't load. My hands went cold. I waited until Liam got home, didn't say anything at first, just watched him. He acted normal, took off his shoes at the door, kissed my cheek absently, opened the fridge and pulled out a yogurt. Work was chaos, he mumbled. You okay? You forgot my birthday, I said. He froze, spoon midair. What? It was last week. He blinked then smiled. Wait, was it really? I didn't say anything. He kept smiling like it was cute, like I'd just caught him missing a dentist appointment. Oh babe, he said, walking over, pulling me into a hug I didn't return. I'm so sorry, it's been insane. Let's celebrate this weekend, okay? But I kept my arms at my sides. You also opened a credit card in my name. That wiped the smile off his face. I didn't, he said too quickly. Capital Saver Elite. Never heard of it. Billing address is ours. SSN is mine, but the email linked to it is someone named SC. He pulled away. Are you sure you didn't sign up for something weird? Remember that time you subscribed to that meal plan you forgot about for 3 months? I stared at him. That old trick. Turn memory into mush. Turn suspicion into shame. I didn't forget my birthday, Liam. He opened his mouth to respond, then didn't. Because my phone buzzed. A new email had come in. Subject, you're not crazy. From, anonymous DM reveal at Proton Me. Message. He's done this before, you're not the first, but you could be the last if you act fast. Attached. An image of a receipt. A gold necklace. Engraved. To Samantha Claire. Paid with my card. I dropped the phone. He tried to reach for it. What is that? He asked, too calm. I backed away. Who is Samantha Claire? I said, my voice cracking. I don't know. You engraved her fucking name. He didn't answer. Just watched me. Like he was waiting for me to fall apart. And maybe I was. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the floor of the living room with every bill, statement, and tax form I could find. I ran my credit report. 6 open accounts. 3 I didn't know about. All maxed out. Total balance, $22,491. All in my name. All tied to our address. Liam had always insisted on handling the finances. I'm just better with numbers, he'd said. Turns out he was just better at burying me in them. I checked my email again. The anonymous one had sent a second message. Subject, it started with a phone. Message. He has a second device. Hidden, that's where the messages are, the payments, the passwords, look for the black Moffy case, bottom drawer under the socks. I didn't hesitate. I went into the bedroom while Liam snored in bed, face down like a man with no conscience. I pulled open the drawer. Dug beneath the socks. Found a case. Inside, a sleek black phone with no SIM card. I powered it on. No passcode. Just a home screen. And a folder labeled SC Credit Hold. I opened it. Screenshots. Payment apps. Saved passwords. And notes. Hundreds of them. Labeled by month. Each one a log. Of what he spent. Of what I owed. At the top of the list, bolded. Eviction ready by June. My stomach dropped. Because I thought we were saving for a home. But he'd been planning our exit all along. Not his exit. Mine. The file named Eviction Ready by June included a checklist, and the first item was, let her believe it was her fault. I couldn't feel my legs. I sat on the floor of our bedroom with his second phone in my lap, rereading the notes I wasn't meant to see. There were logs, timelines, scripts. Script. Little lines like, say she missed the bill last month. Remind her she never checks email. Guilt trip if she pushes back, mention her dad. Be patient, quiet panic is more effective than loud guilt. I started to hyperventilate. He wasn't just lying. He was designing my breakdown. I read deeper. There was a section labeled SC Transaction Cover. Each bullet pointed to purchases he'd made using my cards, gas, groceries, flowers, even Uber rides, and how he disguised them in our shared expense spreadsheet. Some were listed as RX copay, printer ink, charity donation, coffee WHR team. I remembered fighting about that one. He said it was for his boss's birthday. It was actually a $60 flower delivery to a Samantha Claire. The receipt even had a message. Can't wait till this is all yours. I closed the phone. Crawled back into the hallway, silent, because Liam was still asleep just 15 feet away. I opened my banking app. Drained. All accounts. Savings, emergency, joint checking. My name on every account. His name on none. I'd thought that was safety. It was a trap. I grabbed my laptop and searched my email for Samantha Claire. Nothing. I tried her Gmail username from the credit card record. And that's when I saw it. A shared Google Drive folder. SC and L Money Kiss. Inside, a spreadsheet titled Q2 Plan, Exit plus Merge. It was a full budget. Mortgage calculator. Projected furniture expenses. Moving company quotes. They were planning a home together. Using my money. At 6:02 a.m., Liam walked into the kitchen, yawning, rubbing his eyes. Why are you up so early? I stared at him. He stared back. Like I was the crazy one. Like I'd imagined everything. Then his eyes flicked to the phone in my hand. And I saw the flicker, just for a second, that micro-expression of a man who's been caught. But he recovered fast. Where did you get that? You tell me. That's not mine. Cut the shit. He sighed, rubbed the bridge of his nose. Look, I didn't mean for it to go this far, but you've been distracted. You don't keep track of things. I just needed to move things around. You stole my identity. I used what we already shared. You forged a signature on the lease. We were behind, you were late. I was never late. He raised his voice. You don't remember things. You forget bills, you forget birthdays. Hell, you forgot our anniversary. I didn't forget anything. You made me think I did. Silence. Then he said something I'll never forget. So what now? You're gonna start acting like a victim. The way he said it. Like it was a choice. I walked out. Didn't even grab a coat. Just the phone, the notes, the screenshots. I went straight to my sister. Sat on her couch shaking, talking in fragments. She gave me tea, a blanket. Then her voice went sharp. You need to go to the bank. I can't, everything's empty. Not for the money, for the fraud. We spent the next 48 hours building a file. Cross-referencing transactions. Flagging forged documents. Contacting credit bureaus, locking my report. I found an attorney who offered a consult after hearing a single sentence. My fiancé siphoned over $20,000 from me, while gaslighting me into thinking I forgot my own birthday. He was calm at first, even smug, until I froze all accounts, reported the fake credit cards, and filed a report for identity theft. Then he got scary. Voicemails at 3 a.m. Emails accusing me of sabotage. One subject line said, "You think you're the only one with secrets." I didn't open it, but I got another message from the same anonymous address as before. Subject, don't open what he sends you. Message, he's trying to bait you. Let the truth come out another way. Attached, a screenshot of a document. A prenup, one I'd never signed. But my name was there. The date, 3 weeks ago. Filed under premarital agreement, spousal liability waiver. Filed with my digital signature. I hadn't touched anything legal. I hadn't logged into DocuSign since last year. But somehow, my initials were there. Perfectly forged. Filed with a timestamp. It meant he was trying to protect himself. Not from the wedding. From the blowback. That night, I stayed up rereading every document I'd signed in the last 6 months. Half of them weren't mine. The rest, altered. And then I got another anonymous message. Just 2 words. Check trash. I ran to my Gmail. Opened the trash folder. Scrolled. There it was. An export from his Google Drive. A file labeled Final Phase May 1. Inside, an itemized list of everything he planned to take. Cow, TV, jewelry box, my grandmother's necklace, dog, and one final line. Cancel utilities in her name once eviction hits. The eviction notice was already processed, filed 3 days before he said, "I love you," with his mouth full of Thai takeout. I found it in a forwarded PDF buried in my Gmail trash, sent from an automated property management system I'd never heard of, Homefield Equity Partners. My name was on it, only mine. Liam had removed himself from the lease 6 months ago. Silently, strategically. The notice said I had 12 days to vacate. No appeal, no negotiation. Apparently, rent hadn't been paid since February. But I remembered paying it. Every month, auto-pay. I checked the account. The payments had been redirected to a separate Zelle contact labeled HF, rent internal. The email address, scapartmentfinances@gmail.com. Samantha Claire again. I felt my entire body go hot, then cold. He wasn't just siphoning my savings. He was paying her rent, with money meant to keep a roof over my head. I called the landlord. She sounded flustered but kind. "I'm so sorry, I didn't know it was all in your name. The lease update came through online, looked official, said you were transitioning into sole tenancy." My voice cracked. What does that even mean? Usually it's for couples splitting up. One moves out, the other takes over. He left a note on the file saying you requested it. He what? Yeah, you were CC'd. I opened my inbox. Found the email. The CC'd address. My name, finances@gmail.com. Not my real email. Just close enough. A shadow account. He spoofed me. Again. I locked myself in the bathroom at my sister's place and screamed into a towel. I was a shadow of myself. And even that version. He'd cloned. Later that night, I met with the attorney again. He was quiet, focused. Then he said something terrifying. This isn't just emotional abuse. This is calculated financial fraud, sophisticated enough to delay detection, but reckless enough to fall apart if exposed. He wanted you broke, displaced, and too confused to fight. I blinked. Why? He leaned back in his chair. Because men like him don't just leave. They replace. And it's easier to move on when the woman before is legally and financially erased. I called my bank's fraud department. Sent them everything. Every screenshot, every forged document, every co-signed credit card. They launched a formal case. Told me I had a strong chance of having the debt reversed. If I could prove I hadn't authorized any of it. So I went digging. Deeper than before. Old receipts, shared Dropbox folders, voice memos I never remembered recording. And then, buried in an old iCloud backup, I found it. An audio file. Titled, Tuesday After Dinner Important. I pressed play. It was my voice. Slurred, emotional. And his. So just say it, babe, he said. You trust me, right? My voice, of course I do. You've saved me. You'd co-sign anything I needed, right? Long pause. Then my voice again. Yeah, whatever, just don't leave me. Click. File ends. He'd recorded me. Probably after wine. Used that clip as verbal consent. Labeled it, saved it. Probably attached it to some digital agreement or used it as evidence in a dispute. I wanted to scream. I wanted to claw his name off my body. That's when the third message from the anonymous teepster came in. Subject, this is what broke her. Message, if you're still doubting whether you should destroy him, listen to this one. Attached, a file labeled SC voicemail export, MP3. I didn't want to open it. But I did. And I heard her. Samantha Claire. Crying. I don't know what's real anymore, she said. He told me the last girl was unstable, that she lied about the money, the accounts, everything. But I'm starting to get the same emails, same overdrafts, same collection calls. She took a shaky breath. I'm not crazy, I know I'm not. He makes me forget, but it's all happening again. Then a whisper. If someone else finds this, I hope you're stronger than I was. My hands were shaking. Because suddenly, the picture was bigger. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just Samantha. It was a pattern. A system. And I wasn't the first to be emptied. Just the latest vessel. I created a new folder, labeled it Proof to Share. I uploaded every file. Every voice memo. Every screenshot. Then I hit record. My face, my voice. My name is redacted. He made me think I was forgetful, careless, overspending. I'm not. I tracked every lie, and if you're watching this, it's because you're next, or because I finally stopped him. I wasn't going to wait to be evicted. I was going to set fire to the exit plan. His, not mine. He showed up at my sister's door with flowers and a USB drive, then calmly asked if I'd like to talk off record. My stomach dropped the moment I saw him through the peephole. His hair was wet, like he'd just showered, his shirt half-tucked like he wanted to look just a little disheveled. A sorry I messed up kind of costume. I didn't open the door. I turned my phone camera on and started recording from behind the curtain. Babe, he called out, I think we've both said some things we didn't mean. Some things, he'd forged my signature, stolen my money, and now stood outside my temporary shelter, offering tulips like we were in a Nicholas Sparks reboot. When I didn't answer, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a USB drive, holding it between two fingers like a peace offering. I brought you something, he said, proof that I didn't do what you think. My blood ran cold. Proof. That word only came out when someone already knew they were guilty. I didn't answer, just kept recording. After 2 minutes of silence, he finally left, after placing the USB neatly on the welcome mat like a poisoned gift. I waited an hour, made sure he was gone. Then I picked it up using salad tongs. No way I was plugging that thing into my laptop. I booted up an old Chromebook from college, wiped clean, and disconnected from Wi-Fi. When I opened the USB, I found 6 files, all labeled with my name. 3 PDFs, 2 spreadsheets, 1 video. I opened the video first. It was a screen recording. His screen. Opening a Google Doc titled, Reality Management, Notes on My Name. My knees buckled, I sat down. The document was a live script. Line by line. Instructions for how to twist conversations. If she brings up rent, blame the April glitch. If she says, I feel like I'm losing my mind, smile gently. Reaffirm, then offer wine. Repeat, you've always been emotional with numbers. He'd been preparing responses for weeks, maybe months. And the scariest part. It worked. I scrolled, somewhere in the margins he'd written. Mid-gaslight phase complete. Memory disruption achieved. Begin phase 3, isolation. I covered my mouse. I was a checklist. A project plan. A target. Then came the final line. If exposure risk rises, deploy soft reset strategy. Blame overlap with X. Suggest break for mental health. I couldn't believe what I was reading. Because just last week, he'd suggested I take some space. Said I needed healing time. Said he'd cover the bills while I went to therapy. He was setting up my removal, framing it as compassion. The spreadsheets were worse. One detailed every financial account I'd ever had, some I forgot existed. Each line had 3 columns. Available funds. Monthly withdrawal pattern. Destabilization threshold. That last column. A target number. When balance dropped below it, I'd get overwhelmed, pull back, lose confidence. He quantified my breaking point. And he'd already passed it. I didn't need a lawyer anymore. I needed a digital SWAT team. I contacted a cybersecurity friend of my sister. He agreed to help. We extracted metadata. The screen recording was recent, recorded 48 hours ago. He knew I'd find it. But why give it to me? Why hand me his own execution files? My friend had a theory. He wants to control the narrative, he said. If he senses he's losing control of you, he'll start trying to control how you talk about him, giving you just enough confession to soften the story. And the rest. He's probably already creating a counterstory. Don't be surprised if he goes public. An hour later, it happened. A Facebook post from his burner account, Liam Jones' second profile, went live. It was a vague, victim-y paragraph. Sometimes, no matter how much you love someone, their trauma makes them see things that aren't real. I've always tried to be patient, to support her emotional ups and downs, but at some point, I had to choose my sanity. Love isn't enough when someone can't see your heart. Attached, a photo of him holding a coffee mug, looking off into the distance. Black and white filter. He was painting himself as the emotionally abused one. And tagging mutual friends. Then my inbox exploded. People messaging me. I just saw Liam's post. Are you okay? Wait, did you really accuse him of stealing your money? He said you've been unstable for months. He was already gaslighting the audience. I wasn't just fighting for my bank account anymore. I was fighting for my reputation. That's when the anonymous sender returned. Subject, it's your turn now. Message. Post the clip, the voicemail, the receipts, you have everything. Show them who he is, or he'll rewrite you like the others. They included one more file. A 15-second audio clip. It was him. Saying, "You can't prove any of it. I've done this before. They never believe the one who cries first." I hit upload. On Instagram, I posted a reel. Started with, "If you've ever gaslit yourself into staying, this is for you." Then cut to the screen recording. The receipts. The forged documents. The audio of Samantha's voicemail. Then the clip of him. Admitting everything. Within 24 hours, it hit 89,000 views. Within 48. He was gone. Phone disconnected. Accounts deactivated. But the damage was just beginning. Because I hadn't even opened the last PDF on the USB yet. The one labeled SC Testament PDF. The file titled SC Testament PDF opened with one sentence, "If he finds this, I'm dead." I stopped breathing. The lights in my sister's kitchen buzzed overhead, everything too quiet, too clinical. Like time had paused to let me choose whether to go deeper or protect whatever innocence I had left. But I opened it. Because I already knew, there was no safety in not knowing. The document was 12 pages long. Typed. Dated 9 months ago. Written by Samantha Clare. A journal, really. Each entry numbered, each one darker than the last. Entry 1. I know I'm not crazy. I know the first charge wasn't mine. He said it was a gift that he meant to use his own card but accidentally linked mine. I believed him. I wanted to believe him. That's the start of all this. Entry 3. He said his ex was obsessed, that she made up fraud claims to get back at him, Now I wonder if she was just the first version of me. Entry 5. I tried to leave once. He cried, said I'd ruin him. Then he showed me the screenshots, my login, my account, a money transfer I swear I never authorized. He told me if I went public, he'd say I was stealing from him. Entry 7. I wake up and wonder if my memory is even mine anymore. Entry 9. If someone's reading this, it means I'm either free or I've disappeared the way she did. There were photos embedded. Scans of her ID. A selfie with a bruise under her eye. Screenshots of late notices, credit alerts, her bank app showing 0 after 0. But the last page. It shattered me. A table with 2 columns. Victim 1, Elena. Victim 2, Samantha. Victim 3. Each row compared. Birthday forgotten. Lease transfer faked. Credit drained. Gaslighting phrases repeated. Prenup forged. Exit plan filed. Each one checked off. Until the final column, mine still half empty. Samantha had written. If she hasn't seen this yet, she will. If she hasn't lost everything yet, she will. He follows the same script every time. She'll think she's going crazy too. He's that good. I closed the document. For a long time, I didn't move. Then I started shaking. Because one thought echoed louder than any of her entries. I wasn't his first victim. But now, I could be his last. The next morning, I got an email from an unknown address. The subject line chilled me. You've made your choice. The body. Empty. But there was an attached photo. A shot of my car. In my sister's driveway. Taken from the passenger side, the timestamp. 3:11 a.m. He was watching me. Even now. Even after vanishing from the internet, nuking his accounts, ghosting the world. He was still here. Somewhere nearby. And he wanted me to know it. We called the police. Filed for a restraining order. Showed them the photos, the forged signatures, the confessions, the anonymous files. The detective assigned said what I feared most. He knows he's running out of time. That makes him desperate. Then he looked me straight in the eye. Do not be alone. 2 days later, I came home from errands to find a package waiting at my sister's door. No return address. Taped shut. Inside, a velvet box. And in it, my grandmother's locket. The one that went missing last month, the one Liam claimed he sent for repairs. There was a note. Typed. Single line. You always looked best in gold. My sister called the cops immediately. They dusted the box for prints. None. Clean. Like he wore gloves. Like he'd done this before. I started to unravel. Not in the way he wanted, but in the way trauma gets turned into war plans. I cataloged everything. I created a Google Drive, open to the public. Titled, This is what financial abuse looks like. Within hours, women started messaging me. One from Georgia. One from Indiana. One from Denver. All had dated a man named Liam Jones. Same face, same voice, different aliases. One had been taken for $8,000. One had her identity used to open 5 utilities in a home she'd never seen. One had a breakdown so severe she was institutionalized. He had a system. He had a pattern. But this time, he left a trail. And I wasn't the only one with receipts anymore. That night, I got one final anonymous message. Short. Just 2 lines. He's cornered and he's coming. Check your voicemail from March 8. I froze. March 8 was a month I barely remembered. The time I was still spiraling, still believing him. I opened the voicemail app. Scrolled back. There it was. I had never played it. Length 0047. I pressed play. His voice. If you ever betray me like she did, I swear to God, I'll ruin you so slowly you won't even realize it until it's over. I'll make you doubt your own fucking name. Click. Silence. That voicemail was timestamped 2 hours after our anniversary dinner. He'd whispered sweet nothings over dessert, kissed my forehead while I paid the bill, and then left that message, alone in his car. A promise. A curse. A plan. He broke into my sister's house while we were asleep, but he didn't steal anything. He just left a folder labeled "Fair Warning." We found it on the kitchen table, next to the fruit bowl, like it belonged there, like a regular piece of mail. It wasn't sealed. It wasn't threatening in the way knives or bullets are. But it was so much worse. Inside were photos. Of me. Sleeping. Eating. Brushing my teeth through a cracked bathroom door. All time-stamped, all recent. None taken by me. Somehow he'd been inside, more than once. And not to hurt. Not yet. Just to prove he could. To remind me I wasn't safe, not even in the spaces that felt most sacred. The final page was a printout of my Instagram post that exposed him. Scrawled across it in red Sharpie. "You started this, finish it." The police upgraded the case to stalking. Said he was escalating. That this wasn't just financial abuse anymore, it was psychological warfare. My sister put up cameras, changed all the locks, slept with a bat under her bed. But it didn't stop the next part. Because that night, he went public. On his original Facebook account, verified, still active, he posted a new video. His face. Calm, centered. Shot in what looked like a hotel room. "Hi, if you're seeing this, you've probably heard a lot of lies about me. I just want to speak from the heart, for anyone who still believes in truth over spectacle." He smiled, softly, manipulatively. "I've made mistakes, I'm not perfect, but I've never stolen from anyone, I've never forged anything. The real story is that my ex has mental health struggles, deep ones that make her paranoid, impulsive, and destructive." Then the kicker. "I wish her healing, I always have, but I won't be silenced by someone who's rewriting the past to justify their spiral." The comments were a mix of support and disbelief. But one stood out. Pinned at the top by Liam himself. She wasn't the first, just the loudest. I almost threw up. Because it wasn't just damage control. It was reverse narrative architecture. He was turning the story into mine. Twisting it back, making me the monster. And the scariest part. Some people believed him. So I fought back the only way I knew how. I uploaded everything. Not just the anonymous files. All of it. The forged prenup. The voice memos. The second phone's contents. Samantha's journal. The receipts. The voicemail where he said he'd ruin me. I uploaded it all to a public Google Drive titled "The Gaslight Files, a Case Study in Financial and Psychological Abuse." I sent it to journalists, podcasters, Reddit. Within hours, the thread hit the front page. Then it got picked up by a mid-tier digital outlet. Title: "She thought she forgot to pay rent. Turns out her fiancé forged the lease and stole her life." The next morning, he vanished. Deleted accounts. No new activity on his phone line. The detective said he'd likely gone underground. He'd done this before. He knew the exit drill. But what he didn't know was that Samantha had resurfaced. The anonymous sender all along. It was her. She'd gone quiet out of fear. Moved out of state, changed her name, cut all ties. Until she saw my reel. And recognized the playbook. She reached out. And this time, she wasn't hiding. We got on a video call. Both shaking. Both crying. Both finishing each other's sentences about how he made us forget things we knew. Then she said, "There's one thing I never told anyone because I didn't think it mattered, but now I think it might." She opened a folder. Held up a printed wedding invite. From a year ago. The wedding. Ours. Only it had a different date. A different venue. And her name as the guest of honor. He had reused the same invitation template. Sent it to her while planning the fake future with me. He overlapped the timelines. The same dress code. The same font. The same RSVP form. I asked her, "Did you go?" She laughed. "No, I thought it was a sick joke, I blocked him." "But what if I had?" she added. "What if I'd shown up and it was real?" I imagined it. Samantha walking into our wedding, wearing heels, holding a gift bag. Seeing me in a white dress. Seeing him at the altar. And that's when it hit me. He wanted that. He wanted the chaos. The exposure. The collapse. Because the final step in his playbook wasn't theft. It was humiliation. And now, with his name trending and people connecting dots across states, his game was up. But mine was just beginning. Because after all that, after every stolen cent, every fabricated email, every night I thought I was the one going crazy, there was still one twist left. A final entry. One I hadn't seen until now. Because that wedding invite. It wasn't the only thing Samantha had kept. She just emailed me one more file. Subject, you should know where he got your signature. Attachment, recording 1734, WAV. I pressed play. It was my voice. Saying the words. I give full consent to merge accounts with Liam Jones. But I had never said that. Not in real life. Not even drunk. And then I heard the second voice. Synthetic. Robotic. A voice model. Of me. He used an AI voice model of me to fake my consent and drain every joint account. It wasn't just gaslighting anymore. It was identity theft on a level I didn't even know existed. The file Samantha sent, recording 1734, WAV, was my voice, unmistakably mine, saying exactly what every bank wanted to hear. Yes, I authorized the transfer. Yes, I reviewed the document. Yes, I give full consent. Only, I never said it. Not once. Samantha's note was short. He used a clone of my voice, too. He trained it on old voicemails and YouTube clips. If you've ever left him a birthday message, you've already given him the training data. I replayed the file on loop. Each time, it got colder. Deader. Like listening to my own ghost betray me from inside a machine. I wasn't just erased, I was repurposed. I sent the file to the fraud department. They confirmed it. The metadata traced back to an AI model called VoxMirror. Cheap, unregulated, hosted on a foreign server. He'd used it before. And he'd done it again. This time with my voice. To verify 2 massive account transfers, both routed through shell banks under the name Claremont Futures LLC. Registered in Wyoming, of all places. He never needed my signature. He just needed a copy of me saying yes. And I'd given him a dozen over the years. Birthday videos, anniversary reels, that one time I narrated a cooking tutorial because he said he loved my voice. He was probably screen recording all of it. The lawyer I'd hired was livid. This is new territory, he said, but it's still theft, it's still fraud, we're filing everything. Meanwhile, I went public. Really public. Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, a full YouTube video. He cloned my voice to steal my life. I showed the receipts. The digital trail. The clip of my own synthetic voice, giving away everything I never said. It went viral overnight. 1 million views in 36 hours. 3 news outlets picked it up. The term gaslight laundering started trending. And then, the FBI called. They were already investigating him. Apparently, Samantha had tipped them off months ago, but without more victims, the case stalled. Now, they had a pattern. A paper trail. A digital manifesto in my voice. But what broke me wasn't the crime. It was the realization of why. Why go through all this? Why not just leave? Why not break up, pack a bag, walk away? Samantha had an answer. She texted me one night after we both couldn't sleep. He doesn't leave, he erases. That's how he wins, you don't get to exist without him. 1 week later, I testified over Zoom. I laid out every forged document. Played every clip. Showed screenshots of fair warning, the locket, the stalking. When I finished, the investigator leaned into the frame and said something I'll never forget. Most women only realize it was abuse when the bruises show up. You caught him before that. You bled on the inside, but you still bled. Liam Jones was indicted on 8 counts of financial fraud, 3 counts of identity theft, and 1 count of stalking. He tried to run. Of course he did. But they caught him. In an airport, with a wig in his carry-on and a plane ticket under the name Jordan Wallace. And me. I started over. Moved cities. Changed banks. Legally changed my name. The world knows what he did. And thanks to the digital footprint he left behind, it'll never go away. Sometimes I still hear my fake voice echo in my head. Sometimes I wake up in a panic, thinking I missed another bill or forgot a birthday he never reminded me about. But then I remember. The forgetting was never my flaw. It was his plan. Has anyone ever drained your account and your trust in the same day? Tell me I'm not the only one.